Hello creators, it's Stephanie with the Sea Salt Co. I'm making a quick video today because I know I haven't made too many how-to or DIY videos on clay, and I wanted to make sure and do this quick tutorial or kind of give you ins and outs of what worked for me as far as baking in a conventional oven. This is these little tiny ovens. This one actually came from Walmart and it was like $19. The great thing about these is they're great to start out in, or once you are doing multiple different types of earrings, you can actually set up multiple different small ovens. So those work really well for that. So let's get into it. When I first started baking clay, I think I almost pulled my hair out because I started with Sculpey 3. And as most of you know, Sculpey 3 is very brittle. It's great for details if you're going to make some flowers or details on your earrings, and that's great. But for the actual base or structure of your earrings, you do need a stronger clay, something like Primo or Souffle. Those work great, and those are actually what I use. But getting into the baking. So with these small ovens, the way they heat up and cool down and heat up and cool down, they spike. So the heat levels can spike and easily scorch your clay, which means one, it can make it very brittle and not reliable, so your earrings can break. And another thing is they'll change colors. So as it peaks, it has these heating elements up top, this one does, and on the bottom. So with those heating elements, when they heat up, your clay can easily get discolored or burned because they get scorched. So there's a couple of things that you can do for this. One easy fix is tinting. So you can tint your things, which is just create a little house out of aluminum like I've done here, and set your clay pieces in here. That works really well for me. I always tint, especially if I'm baking white, because white is so susceptible to color changing. So there's that. And another thing to keep your oven from spiking is, I actually got this tip from the Polymer clay tutor on YouTube. So I put tiles in here because tiles hold on to heat so well that it will keep your oven from spiking. It'll maintain a constant heat level. What I actually did is I got one large rectangle tile from Home Depot, and I had my brother cut it for me. So I was able to get 3 tiles out of one. So there's one here, here, and here. This one here is above the heating element, so I don't have to worry about that bottom heating element burning or scorching my pieces. And then this one up here prevents the little oven from cooling. So I'm able to bake my pieces in here perfectly. Another big thing that I really suggest or recommend that everyone do is purchase an oven thermometer. They're very cheap. I got this one on Amazon. I want to say it was like $5, and it had a little thing sticking out up top, and I just kind of bent it so that it would fit into my oven. And what I did is I put it in there, and then I checked my temperature, and before I started using it, I put the thermometer in there, and then I would check on my temperature probably like every 5 to 10 minutes to make sure it wasn't going up too high, wasn't going too low. And then I fiddled with the heat settings. And once I found the perfect heat temperature or heat setting for what I bake, which is 275, all of the clay that I use is 275 Fahrenheit. I went ahead and I know that that's where I need my dial. So what I actually did is I took a marker Sharpie and I did a little line here and a line here so that I know where my knob is supposed to be for it to be at the correct temperature. So I don't always have the thermometer in there now. I do take it out if I want to use the whole bottom base, and that way I'll have more room in there. But I put the thermometer back in at least once a week just to make sure it's not spiking, because these little things can be so inconsistent. So that is how I bake my clay. And another tip that I have for you is I actually bake on white copy paper. So the reason I don't like baking directly on a tile is because it'll give your clay pieces these shiny spots in the back of your earrings or whatever it is you're creating. Will have a nice texture, and then all of a sudden I'll have these patches of really shiny spots that to me don't really look very nice. So what I do is I put all of my pieces onto a piece of paper as I'm working, and then once I have a sheet ready, I'll come and I'll pop it in, and this usually will fit 2 sheets in here, and you can get more than 1 oven. I don't like using my kitchen oven. I did in the very beginning, but polymer clay not really being food safe, I don't want to bake in the oven that I use for my family. So just getting a couple of these works just fine, depending on how many earrings you need to make or how many pieces of clay you're working with. You can buy multiple of these. Like I said, these are under $20. You can be running 3, 4, 5. So that is it for today's baking questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or send me a DM on my Instagram at the Sea Salt Co.